So in example 2 and example 3, we're going to be using our addition formula. So our addition formula tells us, or is written out, if we write it out, which I'm going to go ahead and copy from the previous page, our probability of A or B equals our probability of A plus our probability of B minus our probability of A and B. All right, so in this particular example, we are given some information. Each of the numbers 1 through 10 are written on a separate piece of paper. The 10 pieces are then placed in a hat and one piece is randomly selected. Determine the probability that a piece of paper selected contains an even number or a number greater than 6. All right, so we're going to start by writing out our Venn diagram. And when we start with our Venn diagrams, remember that we usually start with what is in the middle. Right, so I'm going to go through and label these. I will label this set as our even number set. I will label this other set as our set that has the numbers that are greater than 6. And we start with the numbers that are both even and greater than 6. That's going to give us 8 and 10 out of our list of numbers up here. All right, the leftover even numbers that we have then are 2, 4, and 6. The leftover numbers that are greater than 6 are 7 and 9. And that means that the numbers that are going to go out in our universal set that we never used are going to be 1, 3, and 5. Right, they're all odd numbers, they're not even, and none of those are greater than 6. All right, so to find our probability that we are even or greater than 6, so our probability of A, we'll say that's our event being even. Right? And if we look at this, we had 3 here plus the 2 in the middle. So that is going to give us a total of 5 out of our 10 numbers. Right? All of these numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 are even. All right, the numbers that are greater than 6, we have 8, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have 4 numbers that are greater than 6. Right, and then both, well, we had 2 numbers in the middle. So we subtract that. 5 tenths plus 4 tenths gives us 9 tenths, minus 2 tenths gives us 7 tenths. And if we look at that, that represents the actual number of digits that we have inside our entire Venn diagram. Right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers in here. So depending on what type of problem you're doing, you could draw out a Venn diagram, or we'll see a couple where we're just going to kind of work through using the information that's given to us. But either way, when we're thinking about these, again, we want to make sure that we do the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of both. Okay, so we're going to do one more at the bottom of the page that's going to be very similar. So we're going to consider the same pieces of paper. If one piece of paper is selected, determine the probability that it contains a number less than 5 or greater than 8. All right, so this is going to be our less than 5. This side is going to be our greater than 8. In this case, we don't have any numbers in the middle because you're one or the other. Our numbers less than 5 are 1, 2, 3, 4. Our numbers that are greater than 8 are simply 9 and 10. And that means the numbers in between 5, 6, 7, and 8 are going to live outside in our universal set. All right, so our probability of A or B, right, equals our probability of A plus our probability of B minus our probability of both A and B. All right, so we are looking for the probability that we are less than 5 or greater than 8. All right, so our probability of A, we'll say again, is our less than 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus our probability of B, We'll say that's our greater than 8. We have 2 numbers on that side. Minus both. Well, we don't have anything in the middle. So there's nothing to subtract, or we subtract 0, however we want to think about it. We get 6 over 10, which we can then reduce to 3 over 5. So when we're finding our cases with our OR probability, again, we want to think about using this formula, our probability of A plus our probability of B minus our probability of A and B. There are also going to be a couple of questions in your homework where you're given a few of these different values and asked them to kind of plug in. You might be looking for something slightly different in your answer, but you can use what you know about solving basic equations to kind of go through and work through those types of problems as well.